Your ex is a beast. Like the proofs are all around. You can still feel the emotional pain. I hope not, but if you look around, you can still see the scars. But every now and then you find yourself saying, I miss my ex, I want to go back to them. Maybe he's not as bad. Maybe she can still change. But both of us know that they can't change. In this video, I'll be sharing with you 5 reasons why you hate your ex but still miss them. And through all of this, you will pick lessons that will help you close that chapter of your life and move on. Out of these reasons, number 5 is the worst. And if that's something you're currently experiencing, you need to do something as soon as possible. The first reason is that we don't miss things or people. We miss the feelings that we have around them. For you to have been dating this person before you broke up, it means there are some things you like about them. There are some exciting experiences you have together. You love their voice, you love their scent. If it's a sexual relationship, you love the experience of sex with them. These are the things you are missing, not necessarily the person. So if they take this person out of the picture and they still give you all of those things that you are missing, all of those things that you feel with them, you will not even notice that they are not around. So this is an important distinction to make, because whenever you catch yourself in that trap of wanting to call back your ex, of wanting to bring back the relationship, although you know it is something that was abusive, you need to remind yourself and ask, what exactly am I missing at this point? For instance, if you discover there is a companionship you are missing, you can now intentionally call someone else to get companionship from them. If it's laughter you are missing, you can call a friend, talk to a family member who will make you laugh. But if you don't separate these feelings from the person, we think that what is missing in your life is the person. The second reason why you hate your ex but still miss them is because our brains store positive and negative emotions separately. Although there is just one part of the brain that stores emotions, which is the amygdala, but within the amygdala, there are 2 separate neurons that store positive emotions and negative emotions. So, for instance, if you are having a good time, you're watching a show and you're laughing, and all of a sudden you hear a negative news that someone has died, that whole excitement you are getting from the show you are watching is just going to disappear, because these 2 neurons are inhibitory to each other. They cannot both function at the same time. So if you're excited, that excitement silences the negative emotion that you're experiencing. And if you're experiencing a negative emotion, it silences every positive emotion that you're experiencing. The reason why this is important to our discussion around missing your ex is that the moment where you are missing your ex, it is because your brain, you are stimulating the part of your brain that remembers the positive experiences you have had with them. So at that point, you have no memory of the negative emotions and the negative experiences that you had with them. So it begins to look as if this person is good, because you're constantly focusing on what went right. You cannot see the things that don't go right. And you begin to feel like, okay, maybe it was not that bad. And it's not as if it was not that bad. It's just that at this moment, your brain cannot see the negative emotions. So if you switch, however, and begin to look at the bad things that they did to you, all of a sudden you will not have all the positive emotions and the positive memories that you have with them. This is actually something we even tell people who are married, that they should intentionally focus on the good part of their partner. Because if they keep focusing on the things their partner is not doing right, they will never be happy. The partner will continue looking like someone who is bad. So in this case, you must apply it to your relationship as well. Intentionally choose not to focus or remind yourself of all the positive memories you had together. You know, to keep steering your heart to want them more, and you keep forgetting all the bad things you experience while you are with them. The third reason is what I'll call an attachment hangover. Now, many times when we hear the word attachment, what we think of is falling in love and bonding and all of that. While that is true, that is not the whole truth. I want to change your mind a little bit. Whenever you hear the word attachment, I want you to think of comfort and familiarity, because at the basic level, that is what attachment talks about. So, for instance, when you if you grow up in a house where they're constantly shouting at you, your brain is going to become familiar and comfortable with the environment where you are being shouted at. So if you now go to a place where nobody's shouting at you, it's going to become unfamiliar. Now, this has nothing to do with whether shouting at you is good or bad, whether it is something pleasurable or not. Now, what we are emphasizing here is that it is something comfortable, and you get used, or your brain adapts to get used to things, and you become comfortable with them. This is necessary so that you will not keep being sad all the rest of your life if you're in an environment that is not pleasant. But it can become counterproductive, just like in this case. So in the case of your ex, the reason why you are missing them is not because they're the best person that you have ever found. It's just because that is what you are used to. You are used to the things you guys did together. You are used to the experiences you had. You are used to the way your conversations flow and all of that. But the interesting part is that there is an exit part here. The same way you had to adapt to become comfortable with this your partner, you also have to give yourself time to adapt to become comfortable with the absence of your partner. So I'm emphasizing that attachment is built on comfort and familiarity, not necessarily what is good for you. Now, the fourth reason why you miss your ex, although you hate them, is because your sense of identity has been built around them. If you are in a committed relationship, it is expected that you begin to see your future with them. You begin to plan how you're going to raise children, how you're going to get married, and all of that. So your identity is being built around it. I remember a friend told me a story of how she had a breakup with her boyfriend then. And this was an amicable breakup. Like both of them sat down and they agreed that this relationship cannot work for obvious reasons. And they ended it. But later she said the reason why that breakup was so painful was not necessarily because the guy had left, but because everybody had known them together. Like anytime she goes out, people ask her, "What about your boyfriend?" Like everybody now knows them together. Her identity has been built with this guy. So you are going to keep missing your partner if you don't have a sense of identity away from them. So I know all the while you have been taking walks together, they have been calling you every day. There are now some certain routines that you guys do together. But you have to slowly let go of that and begin to build an identity of your own. That if nobody is around, if I'm the only person, and this does not necessarily have to even do with a relationship. On a normal day, you should have a sense of identity with just yourself. That if nobody's around, these are the things that I do every day. Because if you don't have a sense of identity in yourself, it does not, you don't even need to break up. Like if they are not just around for 1 week or 2 weeks, you are going to feel as if you will go crazy because your life becomes empty without this person. So all through your single days and even when you finally get married, you should have a sense of identity. Like who am I without the crowd? Who am I without my partner? What can I do by myself? And if you don't have this sense of identity, if every single thing in your life are things that you do with people, then you will always continue to miss those people, no matter how bad they are, just to fill up that void that is in your life. The fifth reason is because your ego has been wounded and you have a need for closure, especially if they were the ones who initiated the breakup, or if you have had several breakups prior to now. You begin to ask yourself, am I really good enough? Can anybody love me? Is it that I'm bad for relationship? I am the problem and all of that. And if you keep going down that spiral, you will get to a point where you have a great need to prove that you are good enough. You are trying to prove to yourself and you're trying to prove to that person that you are good enough. So you are asking for closure. Let them come and apologize. Let them come and say they have realized that I am a good person and they are the one who are at the loss for losing me. That is such a huge trap to be in because it might never happen. And even if it has the possibility to happen, you need to ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to prove? Because many times, this has nothing to do with the person. This just points to the fact that there is something, there is a void in yourself apart from the person totally. That already within yourself, you feel you are not good enough. And that is the question that needs to be answered. It is not your ex that can give you the answer to that question. So even if they come back to your life, if that question of whether you are good enough has not been settled, you will keep asking it over and over again. You need to understand that rejection does not define your value. The fact that somebody does not want you does not automatically mean that you're a bad person. There are several good people who have come to ask you out, but for some reason, you don't just like them. So you should make peace with the fact that rejections do happen and it does not define your worth in any way. Then sit down with yourself, go on some journaling session, and try to point out your worth, point out ways that you're valuable, point out ways that you're a good person, and settle it in your heart that you are a lovable person. The last point I want to talk about is something serious and it's trauma bonding. This is what happens when your brain associates love and pain together. For instance, if it was a physically abusive relationship and the person beats you, even emotionally, the person beats you, and when you're feeling isolated, when you're feeling rejected, the person comes and consoles you. If that happens over a period of time, your brain begins to register definition of love as the consolation that comes after pain. So If you have not experienced pain, you will not seem to experience love because your brain signals that love is the relief or the comfort that comes after pain. So now the relationship has ended because you have seen obvious signs that this relationship is not good for me, and you have ended it. But because your brain keeps tying love to experiencing pain first, you will keep gravitating towards relationships that will cause you pain. And if there's no any other relationship around that will cause you pain except your ex, you keep missing them because now this new person that is hanging around you is not causing you pain, and you know that your ex is going to cause you pain. So you are trying to go back to your ex, and that's why you're missing them. If this is the case for you, the first assignment you need to do, okay, we have identified that this is the case. The next thing you need to do is you need to get used to boredom. Desensitize your brain, and you do it by reminding yourself over and over when you find yourself wanting to fall into that trap, that love does not have to do with excitement. You don't have to get emotional highs and lows, then highs again and lows and highs again. And sometimes it can just be a very peaceful love. So if you find people around you who are showing you love, but it does not come with that sense of excitement because there's no pain before the love, just sit with it. Sit with it and experience it. And the longer you stay around that environment, your brain will begin to readjust again. Everything we have been seeing since morning, it's always pointing to the fact that your brain can readjust. And at every point of what we have been discussing, there is some iota of your brain readjusting to that toxic situation, and that's why you are still missing it. So, in this case now, and as a wrap for the entire video, you need to intentionally just sit still with calm love, sit still with peace, sit still without any chaos and drama until you begin to get used to it again. So, if you are feeling that void, it does not point to the fact that your brain wants you to go back to it. It just points to the fact that your brain is acknowledging that something you have always had is missing. And if you do not give yourself that toxic experience that is missing, with time your brain is going to adapt because that's what it does normally. It adapts. The same way it adapted to that negative situation, it can adapt to normal kind of love. Now, I don't just want you to watch this video and move on. Which of these 5 points is the reason why you are missing your ex? Type it in the comment section and let's begin the conversation from there.